the motion to discharge is not approved.
Overnight, Senate Republicans rejecting a bill to block further military action in Iran unless the president gets congressional approval first. The Constitution grants Congress the sole power to declare war.
The power to declare war is ours. If we give it up, then we are turning our back on the Constitution and our responsibility to the American people.
Only one Republican, Senator Rand Paul, joining the majority of Democrats to back the resolution. Most Republicans on Capitol Hill standing behind President Trump. Speaker of the House Mike Johnson saying the U.S. is not at war at all.
We're not at war right now. We're 4 days in to a very specific, clear mission, an operation.
But that's not what the president said just hours later when Johnson went to the White House.
I have to go back and look at the war. You know, I have a lot of things happening.
The president expressing confidence.
And we're doing very well on the war front, to put it mildly, I would say. Somebody said, on a scale of 10, where would you rate it? I said about a 15. And we're going to continue to do well.
Welcome, guys. Adam is here. So this just happened. Trump keeps winning the Senate votes on Iran, but barely, and each narrow victory is a wound that won't heal. His own party is fracturing on camera. Conservative icons are calling the war a betrayal of America first, and every razor-thin margin is footage Democrats are already loading into 2026 attack ads.
The Senate has failed to advance a war powers resolution aimed at blocking President Trump from using further military force against Iran. Virginia Democratic Senator Tim Kaine introduced the measure. It was co-sponsored by Republican Kentucky Senator Rand Paul. It's the second time in less than a year Senator Kaine is forced to vote on war powers related to Iran. Last June, the Senate voted against a similar effort when the U.S. bombed 3 Iranian nuclear sites. The House is expected to take up a similar war powers resolution later this week. Speaker Mike Johnson condemned the effort earlier today.
It would empower our enemies, it would kneecap our own forces, and it would take the ability of the U.S. military and the commander-in-chief away from completing this critical mission to keep everybody safe. We're not at war right now.
On paper, he's winning. In reality, his political foundation is crumbling beneath him. Let me take you inside what is actually happening. Democrats have been forcing multiple war powers resolutions designed to rein in Trump's Iran war. Each time, the Senate votes them down. But look at the margins: 47 to 53, 52 to 47. These are not landslide victories. These are squeakers.
The U.S. Senate on Wednesday voted to block a bipartisan resolution that would have limited President Donald Trump's military campaign against Iran. The measure fell 53 to 47, with all but one Republican voting against it and all but one Democrat voting in favor. It had called for Congress to sign off on any hostilities with Iran, a move supporters described as reclaiming the body's constitutional authority to declare war. Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock argued for the measure.
The declaration of war is not a power that the President of the United States has. The Constitution makes it clear the declaration of war is the authority and the responsibility of Congress.
These are the kinds of votes that keep party leaders up at night because they reveal how close the coalition is to collapsing. Almost every Democrat votes in favor of ending the war. Almost every Republican votes to keep it going. But almost every is not every single one. And those exceptions are where the story gets interesting. The most notable Republican defector is Rand Paul. The libertarian from Kentucky has repeatedly broken with Trump on these votes. He is not doing it for political theater. He is not doing it to position himself for a presidential run. He is doing it because he genuinely believes in non-intervention. He opposed Syria strikes in Trump's first term. He criticized Saudi Arabia. He wanted out of Afghanistan. And now he is applying the same consistent principle to Iran. His Senate floor speeches become viral clips. He articulates a conservative case against war that resonates with the MAGA base in ways that Trump's own team cannot easily dismiss. This is not a Democrat attacking the president. This is one of the most reliably conservative voices in the Republican conference saying no, and that gives cover to every other Republican who might be having second thoughts. On the other side of the aisle, something almost as surprising is happening. John Fetterman, the progressive Democrat from Pennsylvania, has voted with Republicans on some of these measures. Pennsylvania is a swing state. Fetterman won by a narrow margin. He is positioning himself as moderate on certain issues, and his support for Israel seems to be driving his calculation on Iran. His defection helps Republicans numerically, but it also hurts them politically because it allows them to claim the war has bipartisan support. Except the broader reality is that 47 to 52 Democrats opposing the war hurts Trump much more than one or two crossover votes help him. Fetterman is the exception that proves the rule. The rule being that Democrats are united against this war and Republicans are splintering. Now let me give you the statistic that should terrify every Republican strategist reading the morning papers. According to the BBC and other outlets, roughly 1 in 4 Republicans now opposes the Iran war, 25%. In a two-party system where elections are won and lost on the margins, losing a quarter of your own party on a major foreign policy initiative is catastrophic. That 25% includes elected officials, activists, and most importantly, voters. Millions of Republican voters who showed up for Trump in 2016 and 2020 are now questioning whether this war represents the America First principles they signed up for. And the opposition is concentrated in specific demographics that should worry the White House. Younger Republicans are more skeptical of military intervention. Libertarian-leaning conservatives oppose the war on principle, and the nationalist populists who love the America First slogan, most are the ones hearing that slogan used against Trump by people they trust. Who are those people? Start with Tucker Carlson. The former Fox News host reached millions of viewers every single night before leaving the network. He now has an independent platform on X that reaches tens of millions more. Carlson has consistently opposed foreign interventions. He has mocked neoconservatives. He criticized the Iraq War when that was still a dangerous thing to do inside conservative media. And now he is calling Trump's Iran war a betrayal of America First. Those words matter. America First is Trump's slogan. It is his brand. Having it used against him by one of the most influential voices on the right is devastating. Carlson's opposition creates a permission structure for Republican voters. If Tucker says it is okay to oppose Trump on this, then millions of base voters feel okay doing exactly that. Then there is Joe Rogan. The largest podcaster in America reaches a younger, more diverse, less explicitly political audience than Carlson. Rogan is politically eclectic. He supported Bernie Sanders in 2020. He is also friendly to some conservative ideas. He is skeptical of government and institutions, and he is generally anti-war. When Rogan criticizes the Iran war, his listeners get anti-war messaging from a source they trust. He interviews anti-war guests who explain why the conflict is wrong. He shapes public opinion among people who might not watch Fox News or read political Twitter, and that generational opposition to the war is going to matter for years, not just for the next election. And then there is Marjorie Taylor Greene. The Georgia congresswoman is about as MAGA as it gets. She is a Trump loyalist. She defends him on everything. And even she is calling the Iran war a betrayal of America First. When Marjorie Taylor Greene breaks with Trump, the hardcore base pays attention. These are the people who support Trump through anything, who wore the hats and went to the rallies and believed the promises. And if even they are hearing from one of their own that Trump is wrong on this, the foundation starts to crack. Greene using Trump's own language against him is a masterstroke of political messaging, whether she intended it that way or not. Now let me talk about what political strategists are already doing with these votes, because the AP News and other outlets have reported that Democratic operatives are building attack ad templates for 2026. Every senator who voted to continue the Iran war is going to face a 30-second spot that shows their face, announces their vote, and then cuts to footage of casualties, Gold Star families, gas prices, and protesters. The formula is brutally simple. Senator X voted to continue Trump's disastrous Iran war. Then the consequences. Then the opponent's message. These ads are effective because they are factual. The senator did vote that way. The consequences of the war are real. Voters care about both. And connecting a senator's vote to rising gas prices and flag-draped coffins is powerful persuasion. Vulnerable Republicans know this. That is why some of them are breaking with Trump. Self-preservation is overriding party loyalty. The framing that has emerged from Politico and other outlets is that Trump is getting smoked politically, even when he wins procedurally. Every failed war powers vote shows more daylight between him and parts of his own party. The Senate floor has become a weekly referendum on his war, and the margins staying narrow or narrowing further suggests that opposition is not fading. It is sustaining. It is growing. This fits into a larger arc that we have been tracking. A president whose Iran gamble is destroying his term is now watching one of the places he used to rely on most, Senate Republicans, crack in public. Some conservatives are effectively stabbing him in the back by siding with anti-war critics. That is the language of betrayal, and it feels appropriate because for a president who built his entire identity around loyalty, watching his own party turn on him on national television is the deepest cut of all. Here is what viewers need to understand. Trump can still order airstrikes. As commander-in-chief, he has that formal authority. The Senate votes have not legally constrained him. But he no longer has the aura of total Republican unity behind him. That aura was his power base. It was the thing that made him look invincible. Republicans marching in lockstep, defending him through 2 impeachments, confirming his judges, passing his legislation. That unity is breaking. And every Senate vote that squeaks by, every 47 to 53 or 52 to 47 margin, feeds the sense that his grip is slipping. Perception matters in politics. If Trump is perceived as weak, he becomes weaker. Allies distance themselves. Enemies smell blood. And the damage is permanent. It is on camera. It is on the record. It is ready to haunt the next election. Let me break down those vote margins so you understand how close this really is. The Senate has 100 members. A simple majority is 51. War powers resolutions are simple resolutions requiring only a majority to pass. 47 to 53 means 47 senators voted for the resolution and 53 voted against. That is a 6-vote margin. 52 to 47 means Democrats got 52 votes and Republicans got 47, with one senator presumably absent or abstaining. That suggests Fetterman voting with Republicans gave them 48. And maybe others crossed over as well. These margins are historically close for war powers votes. When presidents launch popular wars, opposition is minimal. The Afghanistan war authorization passed 98 to 0. The Iraq war authorization passed 77 to 23. Even that 23 was considered significant opposition at the time. Now compare that to today. A war powers resolution requiring only 51 votes to end operations is getting 47 to 52 votes consistently. Democrats are close to winning. They are within striking distance. And here is the trend that should worry the White House most. Vote margins have been narrowing over time. If early votes were 45 to 55 and recent votes are 52 to 47, that is a 7-vote swing. That shows Republicans peeling off. That shows Democrats potentially picking up swing state Republicans who are worried about re-election. If that trend continues, Democrats could win a future vote. They could actually force an end to the war through congressional action. That possibility, however remote, changes the entire dynamic. It means every single vote matters. It means every Republican defection brings the end closer. Rand Paul's principled opposition is the most consistent and most credible. He is not trying to hurt Trump politically. He genuinely opposes the war on ideological grounds. That makes his opposition harder to dismiss as partisan. He represents a significant faction of the Republican Party, libertarian conservatives who are skeptical of military intervention. Their skepticism is growing as the war drags on. Paul speaking on the Senate floor is powerful. His speeches become video clips that circulate on social media and reach millions. He is articulating a conservative case against war that resonates with the MAGA base. And that base hearing their own principles used against Trump creates cognitive dissonance. It forces them to choose between loyalty to Trump and loyalty to their own ideological commitments. John Fetterman's vote with Republicans is different. He is a progressive Democrat from a swing state who won by a narrow margin. He is positioning himself as moderate on some issues. He supports Israel strongly. The Iran war connects to Israel through regional dynamics. Fetterman might genuinely believe that supporting the war helps Israel. Or he might be making a political calculation about Pennsylvania voters. Either way, his defection helps Republicans numerically, but hurts them politically because it shows the war is not purely partisan. Democrats can point to Fetterman and say even some Democrats support the war, so it must be bipartisan. That narrative helps Trump. But the broader reality of 47 to 52 Democrats opposing the war hurts him more. Fetterman's vote is the exception that proves the rule. The 25% statistic bears repeating. 1 in 4 Republicans opposes this war. That is a substantial minority. In a two-party system where parties need unity to function, losing a quarter of your party on a major issue is a crisis. That 25% includes elected officials, activists, and voters. Among voters, 25% opposing means millions of Republicans. Their opposition to Trump's signature second-term initiative is devastating. The opposition is concentrated in specific demographics. Younger Republicans are more skeptical of war. Libertarian-leaning Republicans oppose intervention. Nationalist populists who support America first oppose getting dragged into another Middle East conflict. These are Trump's core supporters from 2016. Their breaking with him over this war shows a deep betrayal of the promises he made when he first ran for office. Tucker Carlson's influence cannot be overstated. He was Fox News' highest-rated host. He reached millions nightly. Since leaving the network, his independent platform on X reaches tens of millions more. Carlson has consistently opposed foreign interventions. He has criticized neoconservatives. He mocked the Iraq War. He supported Trump in 2016 partly because Trump seemed anti-war. Now Carlson is attacking the Iran war as a betrayal of America first. That language resonates with the MAGA base. The base trusts Carlson. Many see him as more authentic than Trump himself. Carlson's opposition gives base voters permission to oppose the war. It creates a permission structure. If Tucker says it is okay to oppose Trump on this, the base feels okay doing it. Joe Rogan's impact is different but equally significant. He has the largest podcast in America, millions of listeners per episode. His audience is broad and includes many Trump voters. Rogan is politically eclectic. He supported Bernie Sanders in 2020. He is also friendly to some conservative ideas. He is skeptical of government and institutions, and he is generally anti-war. When Rogan criticizes the Iran war, he reaches a different audience than Carlson. Younger, more diverse, less explicitly political. These listeners get anti-war messaging from a trusted source. Rogan interviews anti-war guests and gives them a platform to explain why the war is wrong. That shapes public opinion and creates generational opposition to the war that will last long after this conflict ends. Marjorie Taylor Greene's role is perhaps the most shocking. She is a controversial congresswoman from Georgia. She is a MAGA hardliner. She is typically Trump's fiercest defender. Her opposing the Iran war is stunning. It suggests that even the most loyal Trump supporters are breaking with him. Greene calling the war a betrayal of America first is using Trump's own language against him. She has a following among the hardcore base. These are people who support Trump through anything, and her opposition creates an opening for them to oppose as well. If Marjorie Taylor Greene says Trump is wrong on this, the base listens. That shows how unpopular the war really is. Even people predisposed to support Trump cannot defend it. So let me bring this all together. The Senate has become the stage where Trump's Iran war gamble is blowing up in his face. War powers votes keep failing to stop him, but every round exposes more Republican cracks and hands Democrats a weapon to use against him. On paper, he wins the votes. In reality, the spectacle of Republicans breaking ranks, ugly floor debates, and sinking public support makes these Senate showdowns look like political losses that cut straight into his coalition. Democrats have forced multiple resolutions. Each time the Senate has narrowly voted them down with almost all Democrats in favor and almost all Republicans opposed. But almost all is not all. And those small but symbolically important groups of defectors are growing. Rand Paul keeps breaking ranks. Conservative icons like Tucker Carlson, Joe Rogan, and Marjorie Taylor Greene keep blasting the war as a betrayal of America first. Strategists warn that these votes are forcing Republicans to go on record backing an unpopular war, creating attack ad material for 2026, and exposing Trump to accusations that even his own side is splintering. Each failed vote shows more daylight between Trump and parts of his own party. The Senate floor has become a weekly referendum on his war, and it fits a bigger arc. A president whose Iran gamble is destroying his term is now watching one place he used to rely on, Senate Republicans, crack in public. Some conservatives are effectively stabbing him in the back by siding with anti-war critics. Trump can still order airstrikes. He has that power. But he no longer has the aura of total Republican unity behind him. Every Senate vote that squeaks by feeds the sense that his grip is slipping. The stabbing in the back and getting smoked in the Senate feels real because the damage is political. It is on camera. It is on the record. It is ready to haunt the next election. And that is the ultimate defeat. Winning the procedural battle while losing the political war. Watching your own coalition fracture on national television. Hearing your own slogan used against you by your own allies. That is not winning. That is getting smoked. And the Senate is the stage where the whole country can do